Hi. So, we're in literally the middle of our summer season. I'll take that back. We're in the first third of our summer season at Shakespeare in the Vines, and we are producing our next play, which is A Midsummer Night's Dream. And we've decided, because I'm the director of this play, that this show is going to be set in ancient Greece, just like in the play, but we're not going to portray it as if they are all dressed in togas, or as if they are all dressed in Elizabethan outfits that are made to look like ancient Greek outfits. Actually taking inspiration from some more modern takes on ancient Greek, mythological Greek periods. And so this video is about how I'm going to be, how I'm going to be taking Theseus, the main character among the humans, and altering his costume to be something a little bit more fantasy, Greek fantasy. I'm going to refuse to say the TV shows and the movies that I've taken inspiration from, but it's not going to be exactly like that either. But it's certainly not going to be a bunch of chitons and himatons and togas. This is how I designed Theseus's costume.
We start the costume with an under tunic of a dark material that will have a microphone pack pocket sewn up the back. The material is a printed cotton, which means that it's colored on one side, which we call the right side, and it is white on the other side, which we call the wrong side. Since this is a fantasy costume and not a historical recreation, there are no patterns for me to follow, so I have to draft the pattern out by hand on the wrong side of the fabric. So I use a French curve that is specifically made for tailors, a yardstick, and the sizes that I have recorded for the gentleman who's going to be wearing this costume, so that I can get a generalized shape. This is going underneath everything, so it really only has to fit generally and comfortably. I first cut the general shape to its longest length, which will be running down the back of the man who's wearing it, and then I cut it off in the front to about halfway across his chest. And I also have to create a second profile for the armhole under the arm, because it's actually a little bit deeper in the front from the side than it is on the back. I used the offcut from the top of the pattern to create the straps on the side of the tunic that will go over the man's shoulders. These I simply cut out facing right sides together, notch them so that the curve will be smooth, and then sew them together and bag them back out so that the right sides are facing out. Then with the right sides facing each other, I sew the side seams and add bias tape along the raw edges around the underarm and the chest areas so that I don't have to finish those edges and they are comfortable for the actor to wear. Bias tape is first attached very close to the edge on the right sides and then folded over and sewn down on the back side to make a nice even surface. Then we'll throw some pants on our model and start on the overtunic, which is inspired by ancient Greek and Roman designs because this is a fantasy period. I start with some white cotton duck and cut strips to make the skirting that you saw in the illustration. As with any detail work in any project, sewing these strips for the skirt was tedious because you have to cut them, sew them down, and then edge them with a zigzag stitch to keep them from fraying during the performance. But then I also added decorations to them later on, so I really decided to make the tedium big on this project. This gold embroidery down at the bottom is just to break up the white profile of the costume. Then I attached the strips to a waistband, longer strips in back, shorter strips in front to create that tiered, layered effect on the skirt. Since the overtunic is basically just a length of fabric that's been folded over a number of times, I took the cotton duck, doubled it, and then folded over the top, and double folded the waistline so that I create a separation of areas for the tunic. And then I added bias tape at the bottom to break up the white between this over tunic and the skirt that I just sewed. Then I sewed the skirt, which I call a kirtle, but it's a skirt, to the over tunic at the waistline. And here you can see why that black bias tape was necessary, as well as the gold embroidery, just to break up this field of white the actor would have been presented in. I then cut out scoops under the arms and vinyl over the shoulders, so it can actually be worn and look like something that went underneath armor. Then I made a cingulum by creating a band of white cotton duck and attaching a panel of red material to give it a color contrast to make it pop, and then more of these straps in 3 tiers to further break up the color contrast. Because a cingulum was actually a bit of armor, I added strips of metal along the straps and discs of wood to replace bronze coins that would have hung down the front and protect the soldier's nether regions. And now it's ready for final fitting on the actor. With a few pieces added for decoration, I think it looks good. I welcome your comments and, of course, your like button clicks, but please also subscribe to my channel for future videos, and click here to see some of my older videos which I think you'll enjoy. Thank you for watching.